Hey there, toy collector friends and Doctor Who fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Triple TC, that's the time travelling toy collector, and today we're having a bit of a reflective moment as we consider the Eaglemoss and Hero Collector Doctor Who consoles collection. Now, I'm very aware this is not the entirety of the consoles collection. I have 3 additional ones, which is the 4th Doctor's secondary console, the 11th Doctor's temporary console built from junk, and the 13th Doctor's, well, let's call it a crystal console, shall we? But I've left those 3 out just so I can have enough space to focus on what some may see as more predominant models from the range. Now I'll put them on spin, the ones in the middle, so we can have a nice sort of look at them whilst we have a chat. And the reason I thought I'd put this video together and get all these off my shelf is because I actually really think that these make for spectacular display pieces. I really do. And I think it's been long enough now since Hero Collector and Eaglemoss went the way of all flesh, and that Master Replica picked up the license for certainly the exterior TARDIS shells. We've also seen some new figures being released and announced, and I'm not hearing or seeing anything about the consoles. And the reason I mention that is because I think that the consoles themselves, again, represent some of the very best elements. They may also include some of the slightly less successful elements, but they include some of the best elements of the Eaglemoss approach to the model making. The level of the detailing, as these are going past, the level of the detailing is really great. Overall, the paintwork has been really, really great. Now, I've taken a look at all of these individually previously in other videos, so feel free to take a look at that playlist for the TARDIS consoles. But I'm just super mindful of the fact that we have reached a point now where we know that we're getting more exteriors of TARDISes. We know we're getting some new in the style of Eaglemoss figurine collection figures. But we're not hearing anything about the consoles. Now, this video may age extremely badly, and I really hope that it does, because no sooner will I put this out than suddenly we might get some announcements that we're going to see some new consoles. But my question is, what consoles will they be looking to produce? Will they see that the market is more for the more current series, in which case there's only really, I would say, 2 consoles that we've got to consider, and that would be the 11th Doctor's original console, which was the sort of bronze monstrosity. It had its quirky gimmicks and I liked it, and there's, again, plenty of bits and pieces on it that they could get their modelling into. As I say, the better consoles really lean heavily into some fantastic surface detailing and sculpture work. So I think potentially that 11th Doctor's first console could be really, really good. For all that I'm not a fan of the overall design, it could be a really, really good console to add into the mix. There's also, of course, the 14th and 15th Doctor's console, which, again, I actually really liked. I thought the console and really the whole interior TARDIS design of what we saw of it would have been nice to see more of the TARDIS, but what we saw, I really was intrigued by that. I loved the colour design, the flowing colours, and of course I really loved the console. Again, there was lots on the console, but I loved the gleaming white element to it because it made a change. I think if all we ever got was that sort of clinical white type of TARDIS, it would become boring. So I think it was, but I think because we haven't had that kind of a TARDIS, I would say we haven't really had that kind of a TARDIS at all in New Who. Maybe the sort of the 11th Doctor's second TARDIS and the 12th Doctor's TARDIS possibly came close, but it's not really gleaming white, is it? Let's be honest. But it is more of that sort of spaceship console that we might interpret the TARDIS to require. So I'm, for one, would be really happy to see both of those incorporated into the range. But what about classic consoles? Because if we're honest, it was the classic consoles that really got that particular line moving. It was only sort of late in the day that we got more modern consoles, and in fact we didn't even get this one and the junk one until after poor old Eagle Moss had gone, you know, had gone. Let's be honest. Let's keep this going. But there's so much detail and there's so much displayability with these that I think we should be going back. We should be seeing a variant of the third Doctor's console, because I know that you know, the first Doctor's console lasted through several seasons, including the second Doctor, but there were modifications made. But the third Doctor, we should really be seeing a couple of modifications from the third Doctor. There should easily be a couple of third Doctor consoles we could see. Similarly with the fourth Doctor, they were very specific with the season that this fourth Doctor's console came from. So why not broaden that slightly? Let's have a bit more from the fourth Doctor's era. We've also got non-Doctor consoles to consider. Across time, we've seen some variations of the Master's TARDIS. For example, we've seen this TARDIS console with some black detailing that's picked out, been used for both for the Master's TARDIS as well as the Rani's TARDIS. Let's not forget. So I'm sort of throwing this one out into the Whoniverse. Into the Whoniverse. And I know probably the stock answer that I'm going to see, I'm going to hear is, well, actually we want all of them. And I'm with that. I can get behind that, because I want all of them as well. But if we can't get all of them, if Eagle Moss are going to sort of try their hand, not Eagle Moss, sorry, if Master Replica, for example, are going to try their hand at the TARDIS console line, what do we think is going to be the one they need to launch with? What is the one that's going to make the most headway in a collection that's going to get people to buy it? Because obviously this is a commercial enterprise. They are going to need people to get behind this to manufacture more. So it's clearly made traction with the exteriors, because we already know we've got coming very, very soon a few of those new police box exteriors for the TARDIS, including a pink one from the Happiness Patrol, and also a white one. I think the white one is the Collectors Club exclusive, but the white from the Mind Robber. So yes, it's a repaint of the second Doctor's TARDIS that we know we're getting. So it's not a massive ultra investment for them, because it's just the same mould that they'll have used with a different paint job. So I get that it's an easy one to offer us, and still charge the same price, because that's screams profit. But it only screams profit if people are buying them. So to my point, I think people are buying them, which is why we've suddenly got 4 or 5 new ones being released. So let's consider the consoles. What do you think would be the consoles people are most likely to snap up in their first wave, if you like, so that Master Replica can go, yes, we have confidence in this product, we know people will buy it. For my mind, I think we either have to go slap bang up to date with the 14th and 15th Doctor's consoles, because I think that's the one that might be more prominent in the current Who brain of the consumers, or we have to go full on retro and give ourselves either a third Doctor or an earlier fourth Doctor TARDIS console. That's what I think. And possibly follow up, whichever the first one is, follow that up with the 11th Doctor's first console. Because again, for all it is a, not my favourite, let's say, it is an iconic design, whether we like it or not. It is a recognisable design, and the 11th Doctor's era is well loved. So it would make a sensible follow-up piece, I think, to whatever they launch with. So if it were me, I think I would like to see the 15th Doctor's console, followed by the 11th Doctor's first console, and then we can take the steps backwards into some of those classic consoles. But that, of course, is just my thinking. I'm here to hear about your thinking as well. So what would you like to see? What do you think makes the most business sense for Master Replicas or whoever to produce the next wave of TARDIS consoles? Do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm not saying this because I have any inside information. I don't know if we're getting any new ones. I believe that way back when there was chitter chatter about the license for Doctor Who figurine collection and the associated elements were being discussed and picked up, my understanding was, and I can't remember for the life of me where I got it from, was that the consoles were on the table. They were part of that design opportunity. So if we're seeing new figurines, we're seeing new TARDIS exteriors, why are we not seeing a TARDIS interior? When are we going to get our next TARDIS console from whomsoever is going to be producing them? I hope it's really soon. And again, as I say, I really hope that this video ages badly, and that we do get some sort of announcement imminently. Wouldn't it be lovely if prior to Christmas we got an announcement that the gleaming white 15th Doctor's TARDIS console is going to be released? Wouldn't that be fantastic? I, for one, would be really excited about that, especially if there's a follow-up announced that you can also pre-book for the 11th Doctor's TARDIS that will come out 2 or 3 months later. I get we're not going to get a monthly release on these things, and I don't think we necessarily should. I don't think there's enough of them. And I think the sporadic release schedule would also increase the hype for when a new one is announced. Now, I'm also mindful that from a collecting point of view, what collectors like is completeness, usually, barring a few exceptions. So with that in mind, I can't help but think we may need to see some of these be re-released. And I don't know where we stand in being able to get some of these re-released. Now, they may be able to do it. There may be sufficient stock around in existence to facilitate that. Or will we need to see some of these remoulded and made from scratch? And if that's the case, maybe that is the wider financial consideration that whoever now holds the license for the consoles may now be having to consider. Because if they can only produce a handful, whilst for some of us that would be great because we have all the rest, for others who may be new to this, who may have missed these the first time around, it's like, well, that's great, but I need a 5th, 6th, 7th Doctor's console. I need the 1st and 2nd Doctor's console. I need the 8th Doctor's console. There's a lot of considerations, which I get, I totally understand. And luckily, that none of those are my problem. I can happily step away from that without having to worry. But as I close this, let's put them back onto a circulation, because as I close this, I want to sort of just say, what is my problem is knowing that there are really good potential console designs waiting to happen and no visible movement taking us towards those. So my closing appeal to anyone who's working with the new license holders who are in a position to create and release these, please, please, please break radio silence. Let us know what the thinking is. Let us know what's coming, because that way it's something else for us to get excited about, and it is something else that will help push those products, because goodness knows I'll be behind any of these being released in the future. So please, 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 please just let us know what is happening. As ever, I have been the Triple TC, that's the Time Travelling Toy Collector. You've been a wonderful companion for me as I've been taking a little trip down memory lane with these collectibles. And I really, really hope you'll drop your thoughts in the comments down below, as well as hopefully liking the video. And if you haven't already, do please subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps me out and helps boost the channel overall. As I say, I've been the Triple TC. I really hope to see you in a future and, of course, a past video. There's plenty out there for you to check out. And I very much look forward to seeing you in the near future. It just remains for me to say that things of beauty can really be toys forever. Take care. Bye-bye for now.